As far as getting ready to export or getting ready to print, earlier we went to Window, Output, and then Preflight, or just double click on the Preflight status update here. And we also covered the separations preview in the section on color, but there's another panel to check out when we're preflighting and just checking our documents to make sure they're ready for print or to export, and that's the Flattener preview. So go to Window, Output, Flattener preview, and we'll notice everything is grayed out here except some red areas. It's kind of like with the ink manager, when there's too much ink going to be put on a specific area, the ink manager can detect that with its settings, but the Flattener preview can detect a bunch of other attributes of objects, and they're not necessarily things that are problems. We're just looking at them to make sure we know what is in the document and if the printer can handle these settings and this content. For example, if your printer is fine with transparent objects, then this is not a problem. So we have some transparency here, we have some transparency here. This is just a rectangle window, effects, and then it's got 90% transparency. And then this document here is a partially transparent PSD file, of course. But there are various categories here, for example, outline strokes, outline text, raster fill text and strokes, all rasterized regions, rasterized complex regions. So as far as transparency goes, that's a big one to check out because some printers will have problems with the way transparency is applied in an InDesign file. Remember that if we use spot colors, sometimes there can be problems with transparency effects like drop shadows or partially transparent PSD files placed in on top of an object that has a spot color. Now, if we export this to a PDF X4 file, because the printer that we're sending it to is a commercial printer and they're up to date and they don't require an older version of PDF, then it should be fine. The transparency should work. But this is just another example of making sure to get a proof from the commercial printer, send it over, make sure it looks fine when they send it back. And that helps ensure that what it looks like on screen is the same as how it looks on paper for the most part, pending any small changes in color, of course, and inks. So this helps preview where transparency flattening is happening, and it shouldn't be an issue with commercial printers overall, but it's good to ask and double check that ahead of time.